Throughout his training camp, Chris Algerie said a huge part of the focus, because of his inexperience, because of the newness of this for him, a huge part of his focus was the mentality of round one. One day, he sparred round one 12 times, just to get himself familiar with the way he wanted to think and move in this first round against Manny Pacquiao.
The important thing for Chris right now is to figure out and deal with the speed and the angles that Manny Pacquiao's punches come from.
Straight
like
left
that.
hand up the middle. Another element, of course, of focusing on round one here is what happened in the first round against Provodnikov, which was a disaster, but a disaster from which he built a fire. Good right hook by Pacquiao. Momentarily wobbled Algerie.
I think it was more off balance, Jim. I don't think that really wobbled him.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Algerie's scientific approach to the fight game can be seen in what he said about how he negates or plans to negate Pacquiao's speed. He said speed is time over distance, and I'm going to use my length to fight at a greater distance and thereby reduce his speed.
Already, Algerie knows that Pacquiao can deal with his speed more effectively than Ruslan Provodnikov can. Pacquiao has cut off the ring twice on him and landed shots both times. Algerie almost got trapped in a corner. Side-to-side movement, a big part of his game.
The bad thing about Pacquiao here is he's willing to take one of Chris Algerie's big shots to land his own. And we'll have to see if Chris Algerie can muster enough in his big shot to cause Pacquiao any problem.
Well, Algerie's critics would say there's no such thing as a big shot.
Very few fleet-footed boxers without much punching power, with low knockout percentages, have beaten, upended, come out of nowhere to beat a guy like Pacquiao, a once dominant knockout artist. Fewer than many boxing fans realize.
The evidence of round one so far suggests that Manny Pacquiao can find Chris Algerie and that he can land the big shots against him. But never underestimate the resourcefulness of Algerie, who surely will be thinking of trying to find a way to deal with that. Body shot by Pacquiao.
And good straight right lead by Chris Algerie.
It looked like a very good straight right hand from where we were sitting.
That you have to be careful when you're on the attack.
Dionisia Pacquiao barely able to watch at ringside. Round two begins. Pacquiao was 11 of 39 by CompuBox count in the first round. Algerie was only 3 of 28. One of the three, that right hand shot that we showed you in the replay.
What Algerie showed with that right hand is he's not a big puncher, but he's a very accurate puncher. And he can snap a guy's head back and create space for himself.
Good shot by Algerie.
Good left hook by Algerie. And
Pacquiao chases and tries to retaliate.
Yeah, and Algerie's left eye is swollen again, and he didn't get knocked down this time. So I'm trying to figure out how to get swollen this time.
Yeah, well, it was the right eye last time. It's the left eye this time. And I'm thinking it was a right hook by Manny Pacquiao. Algerie beginning to work his jab. That was what was missing in round one. Pacquiao begins to counter. Manny Pacquiao looks very fast in the first couple of rounds.
Not only is he very fast, but he also is very focused.
And down goes Algerie on a straight left-hand shot. He's going to say it was a slip, but Gina Rodriguez is going to call it a knockdown.
I agree with Algerie.
That definitely was a slip, and it's water there. That definitely was a slip.
So a bad break for Algerie early. Just as he was down in the first round twice against Provodnikov, he goes down in the second round here.
Big difference, though. He was badly hurt against Provodnikov, and here he was hit as his foot was slipping in the corner.
Lucky break for Pacquiao, but it counts as a knockdown. Algerie's moving, but not sticking enough.
Yeah, but he's very comfortable, Jim. He's not panicking. He's not afraid. He's moving. He's making very smart boxing maneuvers, and he's still in this fight. Until Pacquiao catches him clean, and I see how Pacquiao or how he reacts to Pacquiao's power, then I'll say he's in trouble.
Big difference between this and the Provodnikov fight. It's so much harder for him to land shots against Manny Pacquiao. Pacquiao's way faster.
Yeah, but Pacquiao hasn't really honestly hit him with a good clean punch yet until right there.
Pacquiao's getting closer and closer to landing something really big and hard. Or so it feels.
That was his first really clean punch right there.
Algerie is boxing well. I mean, this is Manny Pacquiao in front of him. He may not have done enough to win either one of these first 2 rounds, but he's negated most of what Pacquiao wants to do. It's not easy.
Algerie just missing with the right hand. You've already pointed out, Roy Jones, that Algerie's left eye is beginning to show a little bit of damage. They have brought professional cut man Jacob Stitch Duran with them for this fight. Big addition to their team. They didn't have that element against Provodnikov. They made it through. Tonight they're better equipped.
Here we see Algerie, Manny on the attack, Algerie moving back. And how you know he wasn't hurt? He blocked all his punches. He's fine right there until it touches that big water spot. Not only one foot, both feet slid out from under him. If both feet slid out from under him and he's very conscious as he knew not to let Manny hit him, it was a slip.
Clearly a slip, but it was called a knockdown by referee Gino Rodriguez, as Algerie's brother was up protesting the knockdown call.
We heard in Algerie's corner 2 more like that. So it's clear they don't want to give Pacquiao any big opportunities early. Algerie can have and has fought in the past at a very high punch output. So the threat of Pacquiao is negating Algerie's offense, but that may be by Camp Algerie's design.
That is by their design. Like I said, he has to get into the fight and get comfortable. He's not the experienced fighter here. He's the guy with the least experience. So he can't come out and throw his whole envelope on the table because paper to paper, he can't match up with Pacquiao.
No, but 4 rounds is a lot to give up on the cards when you're not a knockout artist.
Of course it is, but you're still fighting Manny Pacquiao. And if you go in there within the first 4 rounds and get caught with something that you're not ready for, the fight could end.
Meantime, Pacquiao has failed to create an action if Algerie didn't want to punch, which is what he said he'd do. Algerie is tough to create an action against. He's tall, he's rangy, he has good defense.
Wonderful footwork. Excellent footwork.
One thing about Algerie, the term is negative split. It applies to track and field and swimming, where people are able to build rhythm and do better in the second half of the race than the first half of the race. Algerie in several fights threw more punches in the second half of the fight than in the first half of the fight, as he builds rhythm.
And that's his plan right here now. He's landed some really 2 good left hooks against Pacquiao already, and he's really starting to try to test Pacquiao and see can he put his gloves on him in a hard way.
Early in the fight, Pacquiao seemed able to cut off the ring against Algerie. The danger, if you can't cut off the ring, is that you get into chasing him, the way Provodnikov did. If you begin chasing Algerie, he's got you to a certain degree.
And you see the footwork slowed Manny down some, and that way Chris Algerie was able to land a good straight right lead just then.
Algerie's obviously not awed by the moment. And now the trick for him is going to be, as he's starting to box more effectively offensively in this round, is as comfortable as he is to maintain that kind of nervous energy so that he keeps that guard up and keeps that defense tight, even if and when he has increasing offensive success.
Pacquiao landed a jab moments ago. Now gets in a body shot. Going to the body might be a good idea. Algerie blocking the right hand upstairs, keeping his left glove pinned to his cheek. Algerie not able to throw much in this round as he's focusing on defense and trying to disrupt Pacquiao's rhythm. Hard right hand by Manny Pacquiao upstairs. Good quick hook. Set up by a left hand to the body.
Best right hook for Pacquiao yet in this fight.
And yet it was thrown to land, not thrown with real knockout force. And sometimes you see Pacquiao throw that punch.
Here you see Pacquiao coming in with the left to the body, followed by the right hook over the top to the head. Best right hook I think he's landed all night. Didn't throw it with conviction because he has to be moving while he's doing it in order to catch up with Chris.
All night being 3 rounds so far. And we'll check in with Harold Letterman right now to see how he scores it through the first 3.
Okay, Jim, I got a 3-0, 30-26 Manny Pacquiao. He gets an extra point for that knockdown in round 2. Whether it was a slip or a knockdown, Gino Rodriguez called it a knockdown. He gets an extra point. So that becomes a 10-8 round. Jim, I don't know. I honestly believe that Chris Algieri should move his hands a little more. Throw some more punches. There you go. When he throws punches, it seems to me he's got a chance in this fight. When he just runs and covers up, Manny just seems to get to him. I'd love to see Chris get more offensive. But anyway, 3-0, Manny Pacquiao.
I think the plan is for that to happen next round, according to what they're telling him in the corner.
Yeah, the conversation between rounds began with Tim Lane twice saying to Algieri, you see what's happening? You see what's happening? What would you speculate that he's referring to, Roy?
Well, he's trying to figure him out, make him punch while he's moving, let some of the power and some of the steam blow off. If he stops and throws his hands more right now, like Harold suggests, he'll be sitting on the canvas pretty shortly. He's not ready for that yet. Let Pacquiao blow some of this early steam off. In round 5, start boxing, then start taking your chances. Because if you're ever gonna knock him out, let him blow the steam off. You're the least experienced of the 2 guys. Wait till the strong punching power is gone, let him get into the fight a little bit, then maybe you have a better chance of catching him. But you see right there,
hand uppercut by Pacquiao.
you see right there, he's not the fighter to deal with Pacquiao.
And Pacquiao is so physically gifted, athletically. And I think also, and you heard him say in the corner at one point, you see him
hard
reaching.
body shots.
So as the rounds go on, they're hoping that Algieri's defense and length will have Pacquiao reaching and offer them better counterpunching opportunities.
That's the whole game plan.
Evidence of this round so far suggests to me that Manny Pacquiao wanted to focus on body shots this round, and he has done damage with body shots to Algieri here.
Well, he's focusing on big shots, Jerry. He's trying to get Algieri out of here. To get him out of here, you got to land big shots. And the way to start that is with the body shots. But you see Algieri is still in big shots himself. He just stole another good right hand right there.
Pacquiao with a left hand lead. It was clear during the publicity tour they didn't dislike each other. They seemed to enjoy each other's company. Freddie Roach wasn't all thrilled with that. He said in the New Yorker magazine, yeah, he may get along with him. I don't want him to.
Everyone gets along with Manny Pacquiao.
How
Impossible not to. Exactly right. As Roy and I talk over, hard left hand by Pacquiao. Algieri has taken some punishment in this round.
But he hasn't been down yet, Jim, so that's a good thing for him.
Hard right hand by Algieri. That right hand lead is landing fairly frequently for Chris Algieri when he chooses to throw it.
He see Pacquiao throw an overhand left followed by a beautiful right uppercut because Chris has his arms out over his shoulders, not having his hands up. Unfortunately for Pacquiao, he landed in the throat, not on the chin. Then Pacquiao lands that beautiful straight left lead, catches Chris Algieri going straight back and lands that straight left right down the pipe.
No fun to get hit in the throat. Maybe not as bad as getting hit on the chin, but disorienting to say the least.
Now here's the round they want Algieri to assert himself more, and he comes out with a good long jab. That should be the key weapon for Algieri. Hasn't shown it a whole lot so far, but if he gets that jab on track, that probably means things are starting to go better for him.
And suddenly he begins letting his hands go. This is a guy who has thrown as many as 82 jabs in a single round. And there's a right cross perfect on the chin of Manny Pacquiao. Didn't move Manny at all.
Didn't move Manny, but that was a beautiful right hand, one that Manny does not want to continue to walk into.
First 30 seconds of this round belong to Algieri with the jab and the right hand.
And the crowd's oohing and ahhing, but Pacquiao's not landing.
No, he's not. It's because of the footwork of Algieri.
They touch gloves again.
What would wind up very discouraging for Algieri is if, having followed his game plan more or less so far, if this is the round he's supposed to take over in their minds and he starts the round off like this, what happens if Pacquiao starts to dominate over the second half of the round or starts to find success?
And is able to counter with big shots like that.
A pivotal round in the fight.
Another couple of right hands land for Algieri. They're not big, but he's getting his leather onto Pacquiao's chin with that right hand.
And he's not concerned in landing nothing big because he only has a few knockouts anyway. Great body shot. His job is to just put punches on Pacquiao like that. And
a straight right hand and a left hook.
That's their game plan. Just hit Pacquiao as often as they can. Hopefully they'll wear him down without Chris getting caught with a big shot, and maybe he can knock him out.
He's gotten hit here, but it's been a whole different kind of round for Chris Algieri as he's finally unlocked the bolt to his offense and is throwing the jab with frequency, which is the name of the game for him. Algieri's footwork keeping him safe there against Pacquiao's big shots.
Superb footwork, and you notice that he's going to the body a lot. And I can guarantee you now, looking at Chris Algieri, his plan is as follows. Keep hitting Pacquiao with the straight right to the body as often as he can. Go for the overhand right like Marquez did and try to knock him out.
Meantime, Pacquiao looks determined, and maybe this was Team Algieri's plan, but Pacquiao, when he gets boxed and hit, looks determined to start walking Algieri down, but as a result, sometimes just walks forward into more shots.
Right into the shots, and that's got to be Algieri's camp's whole game plan. Frustrate him, make him run into a shot, and try to knock him out.
So that had to...
Yep.
Round 6 begins in what became something of a different fight in round 5. Harold Letterman still scored the round for Manny Pacquiao. I don't think it was necessarily an easy round to score. Wouldn't surprise me if a judge had Chris Algieri winning that round. Obviously, Max Kellerman thought that Algieri won the round, right, Max?
I did, yeah. But many judges won't give you the round if you're the guy moving away and the other guy's active with his hands. I just didn't see Pacquiao land clean shots, and I saw Algieri land some clean shots.
Manny got in a left hand to the side of Algieri's face there. Algieri goes back to pumping the jab. He was reluctant to throw the jab in the first 4 rounds. Now it's changed. Again, a guy who at one time in his career threw 82 jabs in a single round. In the first 4 rounds of the fight, CompuBox found Manny Pacquiao throwing 100 more punches than Chris Algieri. The profile coming in was that Pacquiao was not the volume puncher, Algieri was. But Pacquiao's power changed that equation early on.
And what makes Pacquiao deadly is that he is actually a volume puncher. He's just a volume power puncher. So that makes him more dangerous than normal guys are. That's the biggest thing about him, is that he throws volume punches, and he's a big-time volume power puncher.
Now, Gina Rodriguez is telling Chris Algieri to keep the right-hand body shot up. It was right on the belt line.
Didn't look low to me, but...
And the belt line is above the navel. Therefore, that should be a legal shot.
Hard left hand by Pacquiao stuns Algieri. And that's going to be the second knockdown of the fight. Algieri's going to say he threw me down, he didn't knock me down, but the bottom line is it counts as a knockdown. And let's see if Algieri's still hurt.
Algieri nodded his head like, yeah, you got me.
Yeah, he hit him first, and he bumped him, but he did hit him first, so that is a legitimate knockdown, I think.
Me too.
Extended right hand by Algieri momentarily, backs Pacquiao, but he keeps coming. Fires away with the left hand. Algieri goes down for the second time. Third time in the fight, and once again there's water in that corner, and his foot slipped out from under him, and he can't get Rodriguez to listen to him on that point.
No, he should stay out of that corner.
Yep, stay out of that corner.
No question the water was at least partially a factor in that knockdown, but Manny's knocked him down twice in this round. Pacquiao power showing up big time here in round 6. 2 knockdowns of Algieri in this round. 3 official knockdowns now in the fight.
He's seen the first knockdown. That left hand did hurt Chris Algieri. Pacquiao went on the attack, but that did hurt. Another left hand, he really was pushed down at this point. He's off balance, but the punches did land first to hurt him, and that's why I would give him legitimate credit for that knockdown. That was a knockdown. This second knockdown, he's just moving away in the corner. He got caught with a jab, but he threw a hook of his own. But as you saw, as he was trying to hook, his foot was sliding out from under him again. That one was questionable, but because of the jab landing to the face, you can understand.
In this fight.
Then I was ready
He's
for
got three.
Yeah.
Now Chris Algerie may be in a compromising situation. Because of the knockdowns, now he has to change his style and either try to start winning the fight earlier or start trying to go for the knockout because of those knockdowns being 1.5, as Max and I agree.
Now with the smell of a knockout in the air, it's commentary dangerous to take a break for the score, but we're going to do it. Harold, how do you have it so far?
I want to tell you, these guys kill me. 1.5 knockdowns? Give me a break. Anyway, I got it 6-0, 60-51, Manny Pacquiao. He gets an extra point for each of those knockdowns. So round 6 becomes a 10-7 round. I mean, he's got a whopping 9-point lead. Chris is... I tell you, I think he's just got to slow down a little and stand there and bang with Manny a little, because he's been boxing, he's been moving. I don't think he's won around because he hasn't hit Manny hard enough. I think he's got to change his game plan and stand there and use his quick hands. 6-0, Manny Pacquiao.
That's why low knockout percentage fighters don't generally come out of nowhere to beat guys like Manny Pacquiao, because they're one-dimensional. Even if they're multi-dimensional within that dimension, their boxing dimension. What do they do if they fall way behind on the cards?
When Max refers to low knockout percentage, Algerie had only 8 KOs in 20 fights coming in. By the current standard of the sport, that is a way low knockout percentage. He's just not that kind of fighter.
Back in that corner again, they put up for it.
Algerie seemed to realize he was backing toward the wet corner. Got himself out of there in a hurry.
Algerie's not giving Pacquiao anything to worry about on his way in. He can sting him with a shot. He can snap his head back and make him take a backward step or a half step back, but Manny obviously doesn't feel like he's in danger of being hurt by the shot.
It's the difference between punching at the target and punching powerfully through the target, the way Pacquiao does.
There's a good hard body shot.
He's landed a couple of those this round, Max.
Right hand body shots and straight right hands upstairs. Those have been the 2 areas of occasional success for Chris Algerie. Begins to unload a little bit of the Teddy Atlas toolbox. Chris, this is where you wanted to be. This is what you wanted. Trying to remind him of the mindset of confidence that they built coming into the fight. A fight in which so far, as you see on his unofficial scorecard, Harold Letterman has given every round to Manny Pacquiao.
When your strategy is to essentially give away the first 4 rounds, and you're not a big puncher, you have to be perfect the rest of the way. And that obviously hasn't happened for Algerie.
If that was really the plan, it has me thinking, what were they thinking? Seriously, give away the first 4 rounds against the guy who has knockout power when you don't?
Well, I'm sure in their minds it wasn't give it away. It was box a little differently and a little more patiently and cautiously. But how is he expecting to win those rounds against a high-volume power puncher?
As a fighter, anytime you have seen a guy get knocked out before, you think in 8-ounce gloves, there's always a chance, even though you're not a puncher, that you can either catch him coming in, run him into a big enough shot, and possibly get lucky and get a knockout. That's just the consensus of a real pro fighter. So Chris Algerie felt like he's been out before. Maybe I can give him 4 rounds, set him up so I can put these 8-ounce on him, and it's possible I can knock him out. But if I try to come out and box him early or try to knock him out early, he may knock me out.
I think it's a bad plan.
It is a bad plan, but that's the only plan he could have. This is Manny Pacquiao we're talking about.
I know. I liked what he said, though, when he was talking about, I think with my length and my jab, I can disrupt his rhythm. That sounded to me like the only thing that could have worked. And they seem to have dispensed with that too early. Hard left hand by Pacquiao. Chris Algerie turns to Gina Rodriguez as if to say, hey, I hit him on the belt line. You warned me about hitting you low. He hits me there and you don't say a thing. What's up?
This is Michael Jordan to AC Green.
Quick left hook by Algerie. Manny Pacquiao countering 1, 2, 3.
I know against the southpaw sometimes you can throw that lead right almost like a jab, but it's Algerie's best punch is that good long jab, and he just has shelved it for way too much of this fight.
Roy Jones complimented early the great footwork of Chris Algerie. Manny Pacquiao's footwork is unreal.
It's exceptional.
His ability to get from one side to another and create punching angles unmatched.
Up. 4 punches together.
Dionisia Pacquiao during the last round doing a little shadow boxing, a little praying, some histrionics thrown in. She's as good a show as there is at ringside. Round 9 begins. Hasn't been a single clinch. Gina Rodriguez has had nothing to do other than to score knockdowns and warn people for low blows. No clinching in the fight. This round, Algerie up on his toes and trying to work his jab. Gets hit by another big shot from Pacquiao. Algerie lands his right across the top. Let's go to the corner of Chris Algerie, where Max Kellerman is ready to talk to Tim Lane about the game plan and what's happening now. Max?
Tim, we're talking a lot about the game plan in the corner. We heard you after 2 rounds tell him 2 more of those. And then what was the game plan coming in?
Keep the distance. Keep the distance. Jab on him, let him get tired. He's getting tired, he's reaching.
Was there an idea that after 4 rounds something changes?
Yeah.
What was going to change?
I'll tell you after. He's gonna put him to sleep here in a few minutes. I'm gonna let him go. I'm gonna let him go in 1 more round. I got him in the cage right now. Let him out the cage.
The plan is to have Algerie knock Pacquiao out.
Yes, but I still got him in the cage. He listens to me very well. I'm gonna let him loose in another round or so.
Round 10?
Round 10 or 11, I'm gonna let him go.
Well, that's going to make it difficult for the plan to materialize, because there's a question now as to whether Algerie will be able to survive that shot, which was a monster left hand, a sensational straight left cross by Manny Pacquiao that put Algerie on his back. And let's see what Algerie has left.
He doesn't have much left here, and that hurts more because he's already
Takes the knee. That's an Algerie method. Take the knee to try to clear his head. So these are knockdowns number 4 and 5. No, 5 and 6.
Okay, crazy, okay? All right, let's go. Bye.
6 knockdowns in the fight so far for Pacquiao.
Algerie better hold or the fight's over. There he is.
Held for a little while. Couldn't hold on long enough.
It's Pacquiao who's out of his cage.
Yeah.
He's still fighting though.
Algerie showing guts.
Big guts.
Pacquiao in control.
Big guts. Huge guts. And I hope the referee don't jump in too soon. Let Pacquiao finish him at least. Because if he doesn't, he jumps in too soon, he'll ruin a good fight. He sees a beautiful straight left hand by Manny Pacquiao. Right down the pipe off of Chris Algerie's jab. And down Chris Algerie goes. That was a beautiful straight left hand. Couldn't ask for better. Chris tried to time it with the hook. And the left hand landed right on the chin before Chris's hook could get there. Here you see Pacquiao putting the pressure on Algerie, knowing he's in trouble. Gets caught with 2 punches. dips down to try to just take a knee for the 8 count.
And staying in character all the way, you heard Tim Lane say, Chris, we're right where we want to be. That may be the case, but there are 6 knockdowns behind so far. And according to our unofficial scorer, Chris Algerie has lost every round on top of that. And Harold, I mean, this score will be astronomical now. What is it?
I've got him ahead by 14 points. I got it 90-76, 9 rounds to nothing, Manny Pacquiao. Jim, I sort of disagree with the 6 knockdowns. I think he only scored 5. To tell you
That's
the
right.
truth.
I miscounted. You're exactly right.
But Manny Pacquiao
6 may be
on
on
the
the way.
offensive right here. 9-0 Pacquiao so far.
And meantime, a knockout win for Pacquiao would be a big deal here, not only because he hasn't scored 1 in 8 fights, but because Algerie, as Ruslan Pravandikov, a knockout artist, can tell you, is very hard to knock out.
Algerie has a 4-inch height advantage. He came into the ring with what we judged by our scale to be a 6-pound weight advantage. He's a longer, more defensively oriented counterpuncher. Not everybody thought that Pacquiao was going to be able to step forward and get the knockout. Freddie Roach said all along it would happen. On the other hand, Freddie Roach didn't think that Pacquiao would have to go to the 10th round to do it. But it's been entertaining to watch the build-up.
And on the other hand, here Algerie still is.
Like I said earlier, it's crazy, and I know it was ironic and crazy, but I knew that his team was planning to try to knock Pacquiao out.
You turned out to be 100% correct. And my mind is blown.
But I told you, as a boxer, and from a boxer standpoint, that's the only chance he saw. He has less experience than Pacquiao. You don't outpoint Pacquiao, so his only gamble was to try to knock him out.
Learn something new every day.
And what has happened here, in a sense, is kind of like what Max says. The separation in class is starting to show up.
Yeah, class tells over time.
Well, some would say it showed up in round 2.
And by the way, what does that say about Pacquiao, where class has told over time against Tim Bradley, now against Algerie?
Harold, there's the 6th knockdown. I got you.
5, 6, 7, 8. Come on forward. You all right, Chris? Good. Yeah. All right, box.
At this stage in Pacquiao's career.
Here you see Pacquiao coming forward, lands a beautiful straight left hand high on the neck of Algerie, followed by a beautiful right hook, which I think the right hook did more damage. Then he kind of caught him with a forearm, but Algerie was already headed down. Legs are tired. Fatigue is showing up. Not so much as devastating from the 1 punches, but devastation from the fact of that punch and fatigue with it. That right hook was a great shot right on the chin.
Accumulation of punishment. And Algerie comes back for the 11th round.
Algerie said that he wonders where the quit comes from in the other guy. He doesn't think about quitting, and he's had 6 different chances in this fight been on the canvas.
And he's about to get another one if he keeps that head high like that.
Telling him in the corner, you can get out of the cage now. Not sure he wants to.
It's like turning a wolf out of the cage in the bear pen.
Exactly.
The day the fight was announced, some critics on the web said odds should be 50-1. Odds should be 20-1. There were other outrageous numbers floated around. As of a couple days ago, the last time I checked, betting odds were about 7-1.
I saw as low as 6-1. So they kept dropping.
Went back up apparently in the last few hours as bettors here got in their money on Pacquiao.
Smart money.
Smart Pacquiao. He has fought a perfect fight for his purposes.
An exceptional fight, Jim. And I tell you, you knew he was focused. Yesterday, I heard his manager, after they came by and spoke to me, and Michael Kahn said, yeah, the guy right there, we might, if he looks good tomorrow night, we might look at him down the line. And if you would have seen the look that Pacquiao gave Jesse Vargas, it almost had me in shock. I was like, wait a minute, Pacquiao, he's not talking about now, he's talking about later. But Jesse wasn't looking, and had Jesse been looking, we probably would have had to separate him.
Wow.
That's how focused Manny is.
Well, Freddie Roach has said that he wants Pacquiao back down at 140 pounds, where your fighter Jesse Vargas fights, by May of 2015. And forever thereafter. In Roach's mind, the days of fighting as a welterweight are over after this. This, of course, assumes that there's never to be a Floyd Mayweather fight. If that were to somehow materialize, then the going back to 140 falls by the wayside.
I mean, if guys like Bradley and Algerie can't compete with you, then the only boxer, pure boxer who makes sense is Mayweather. In addition,
3 minutes to go.
This is the final round.
Manny flashes Chris Algerie that spectacular Hollywood smile as he gets ready to try to knock him out one more time.
And I think they just had a small clash of heads.
There's a swelling just under the left eye of Manny Pacquiao. Almost imperceptible, but it's there. Perhaps a tiny compliment to Chris Algerie's right-hand leads earlier in the fight. There have been 6 knockdowns, and Pacquiao has looked at times spectacular. So I don't think the narrative is going to be, oh, he didn't get a knockout, if in fact Algerie somehow makes the final bell. More likely the narrative is going to be Pacquiao's power was largely back.
Looks that way to me.
Good uppercut by Pacquiao and a hard right hand by Algerie. Pacquiao took Algerie's hard right hand in such a way as to once again suggest that the knockout strategy was a faint wish. There's another hard right hand by Algerie. Pacquiao's a little bit more open in this round as he drops his hands and tries for a knockout. Now Pacquiao's got his guard back up and comes out of it looking to land again. Algerie moving and moving.
The hard thing about it for Chris Algerie is Pacquiao's movement is just as effective as Algerie's movement. So when Algerie goes to attack Pacquiao, Pacquiao makes the same moves or same type of moves that Algerie makes when Pacquiao attacks him. So it makes it just as difficult for him to hit Pacquiao as it is for Pacquiao to hit him.
The distance between this and fighting somebody like Ruslan Provodnikov is about the same as the distance walking from here to Siberia. It's a long, long way. "30 seconds to go. There are no moral victories. Finishing the fight isn't going to do all that much for Algerie's reputation, particularly since he's been down 6 times. The academic discussion of whether the water in the corner figured into 2 of the first 3 knockdowns probably won't mean much after this. A lot of power, a lot of Pacquiao. And we'll go to Michael Buffer for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Venetian Macau Hotel Resort, we go to the scorecards. Levi Martinez scores it 119-103. Patrick Morley has the same score, 119-103. And Michael Pernick scores it 120-102. All three judges scored for the winner by unanimous decision. And still WBO welterweight champion of the world, Manny Pacman.